Well, Ethan, appreciate you joining Coug Fan and in our media hour here. You know, growing up in England, you're from Bury St. Edmunds. What was basketball like for you growing up? When did it first become a thing that you started to really play?
Yeah, so I grew up pretty much my whole life playing football, or you guys call it soccer. And that's kind of the normal thing to do over in England. It's kind of the main sport. Um, with football facilities, you got a football field on every school, every place you go. Really, there's not a whole lot of basketball courts. So I kind of grew up playing that my whole life. Was proper into it. Really liked it. And then I was probably 12, and then I started to get tall. My older sister played basketball. She was tall too. Um, she started playing probably 2 or 3 years before me. Um, and then I started picking up at school. I really liked it at school. I'd always go into school early, just play on the hoop by myself. And I was like, I really like this. This is fun. Like, not many people are doing it. I feel like I'm quite good at it. And then it kind of got to the age where I was 12, and my dad and mom were kind of like, you got to pick one. You got to pick football or basketball. And I kind of went with the one that I felt like I was better at and had more fun doing. I think my parents appreciated it too because they could sit in a warm gym instead of rainy outside in the winter. So yeah, I kind of started playing basketball just by itself properly when I was about 12 years old. At a club called Ipswich Basketball Club, which is about an hour's drive east of Bury St Edmunds. Um, I played there throughout the whole of my youth. Played through from 12 to until I came out here. Pretty much every age group, and just stuck at it. Really enjoyed it. My dad would drive me down for practices twice a week, and then play a game on a weekend. Kind of uh, all throughout south of England. Um, and yeah, just stuck at it. I wasn't really on any national team radars or anything like that throughout my junior career. And then when I would say my under 16 uh, year was kind of the year where I felt like I made a big jump, and um, kind of felt like I could do something with basketball if I stuck at it and worked hard. And I ended up coming here, so it kind of worked out.
Yeah, so can you kind of thank your older sister for breaking the door down, making the basketball decision a little easier on the parents?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I think kind of seeing her do it a couple years before me. I think I was kind of that age where I was like, I was almost like waiting to be able to be like, yeah, I can't wait to be able to join the team and play. So yeah, she definitely kind of set the foundation, being a couple years older than me, and I kind of just she did a good job of paving the way for me.
Yeah. How have you seen just the game of basketball grow in your home country? And obviously, it's such a global game now. When you take a look at the Olympics this past summer, and France, and that fantastic game against our national team in the U.S. here. What have you seen over the last decade in your home country that makes you feel good about the sport going forward?
Yeah, I think it's been amazing actually, just to be able to see the amount of people that play basketball in England. I think, if I'm not wrong, I think basketball is the second or third most played sport in England behind football. The funding isn't quite the same compared to some other sports, which is probably the problem right now, especially for British basketball. When they get that step right, we'll see a big jump. But I just think being able to even look over the whole of Division One over here. I mean, I feel like this year I've played against an English person. One in every 3 or 4 games, and they're playing at a high level. You've got Great Osborne at UW, you've got Amari Williams at Kentucky, Cam Hildreth at Wake Forest. Like, great players that have come out of England, and we've all proven that we can play at the highest level of Division One, which is really, really promising. And then you've also got the Great Britain national team qualifying for Eurobasket this year, which I think is a huge step just to kind of put Great Britain on the map. Um, and yeah, I feel like the talent has always been there. It's just the ability to be able to expose it and put ourselves on a platform to be able to, show that we British basketball players can play at the highest level.
I do have one football question for you. You're kind of in between Norwich and London, right? Is that safe to say where you're home somewhere?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
So who's your football team? Who are you
Yeah,
who are you rooting for?
my football team's Ipswich Town. So that's where I played Ipswich Basketball Club, and Ipswich Town just got promoted to the Premier League this year. They weren't in the Premier League for about 25 years, so I
Wow,
missed it last summer. They got promoted as a big, as a big,
that's big
pretty big
time.
ordeal. And I
Was the
don't think they're
town
doing
just
great.
in party mode when that
Yeah,
happened? Like,
it was crazy. They get promoted. It's kind of like when team wins the NBA and they have the parade on the bus and the whole town. There's flags. There's people. I'm trying to think of the loads of blue paint in the air and people just going crazy. So yeah, it's definitely something I wish I could have been there for. But no, they got promoted this summer. I don't think they're doing great. I think they're in the bottom three of the Premier League right now. So they might go down again. But that's my team. I rock with.
that's
They're
still
about
an
4 5 years ago.
incredible accomplishment, to get up to the Premier League, even if it is there only for
Yeah,
a
definitely.
season.
Hmm.
One thing which killed Coug Nation, everybody loved watching Cedric through the first 6 games of the year. You got to play with him multiple seasons in Eastern. Just from like, obviously you're not Cedric Howard, but from an aspect of being a teammate, how tough was it for you guys to see what he had to go through this season, and obviously the not being able to play and be out there with you guys? What have you seen from Cedric? As we've seen him on the side of the bench coaching you guys and doing his best in the spot that he can.
Yeah. No, I think obviously you never want to see someone like that or anyone in your team go through a season-ending injury. I lived with Cedric last year when we played at Eastern. I just see the work that he puts in every day. So when I found that out, it definitely took a while to kind of process it and be there for him and just take it all in. But yeah, I think this year's just been a huge testimony to just the person Cedric is. I think it's super easy to look at what you're like as a basketball player on the court and stuff like that, but Cedric just brings so much stuff off the court. I know it only seemed little, but like I saw that little clip of him yesterday when Lawan's getting interviewed and Cedric goes up to him and he pretends he's messing around with him. And I just think, just seeing little stuff like that, people don't necessarily think that's a huge thing, but you do that over a course of a whole season and it just has such a huge effect on the team. And I mean, I feel like Cedric as an older guy too, as a senior, I've been able to play 2 years with him, and obviously this would have been the third. And he's just done a such a great job. And for me, he's done a great job with the team. But for me personally, like I always tell him, like, hey, stay in my ear. Like I want to hear your voice throughout the game, throughout practices. And he's just like he's done such an amazing job of that. And yeah, I think it's it's been nice for me. I just to be able to see his growth in terms of that, and he's been great every single day. And you can definitely tell. You look over sometimes, and you'd be like, "Damn, I know he really wants to be able to check into the game now, and put his mark on the game, which he hasn't been able to do. But he's done such a great job of it on the sideline.
you know, um, it was a great start to the season. 13-3. You guys dealt with quite a few injuries. Like, it's not just Cedric. Marcus Wilson was a big loss. Rahard was out for some games. Isaiah dealt with his injury. What do you guys think went wrong in the month of February for the team?
Um, I think just it's hard to put on one specific thing because I think you could look at a lot of different things. But I think as we're kind of coming out of February, I think we talk about our competitiveness, our energy, how hard we're playing, and then it's just like the fine tuned details too. Um, and I think that may have all added up kind of together, which I think kind of led to those losses in February. But yeah, I think it's the way you assess it and you kind of respond to those negative games or weeks that you have. And I think we've done a good job of it. And I really feel like we can find some rhythm going into these last two conference games.
Yeah, you mentioned that last 2 conference games. You have a home game against USD tomorrow night, and then you guys finish up on the road at Pepperdine. And there's still some shifting in the standings that can possibly happen. You need some help with St. Mary's taking LMU down in their final game, and if you can win your final two and have some help with St. Mary's, you guys will move up into that 6th spot. Is that kind of the goal right now? Is just, hey, finish the season with 2 wins and then, maybe let the chips fall where they are?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like going into any game, the aim is to always win the game. I think we've got to do a better job of just taking it one game at a time. I don't think we can pair games and be like, let's get these 2 wins. I think we just got to focus on tomorrow's game, and then focus on Saturday's game after tomorrow's game. But yeah, of course, I think just being able to find that rhythm, connectivity wise as a team. I think the last 2 days of practice have been really good in terms of building that rhythm and connectivity. And then, yeah, being able to win these 2 games and then go into Vegas with some rhythm.
Do you guys feel like you have anything to prove to just the fan base and Cougs in general over the last 2 games of the year? Because obviously you guys aren't happy with what's going on right now too. But fans, they can be really high, really low. Obviously it's not something that you guys are too focused on in terms of just being focused on the task at hand.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have something to prove every game we step out, and I feel like the team as a whole has definitely felt that disappointment over this past few weeks because we definitely know we can play better, we can win these games. But kind of like I was saying, it's an everyday process. I think we've had a good mindset of not looking too far ahead and also not looking back in the past because you can't go back in time and change those games. I think our details and what we're doing every day leading up to these next few games is going to determine how we finish the season. And yeah, we definitely have a point to prove.
You guys had a stretch where you took down Nevada on the road, Boise State on the road. This team has proven that it can get hot at a right time, and win 3-4 straight games. And that's what you guys are going to have to do in terms of the West Coast Conference tournament for a shot at the automatic bid. I mean, where do you guys see yourselves in March? Do you think you guys can rattle off a week or two straight of high level ball?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's always the vision. Kind of like what I was saying, I feel like if we can get that rhythm and that connectivity these last couple of conference games, that's going to definitely give us some confidence going into Vegas. And I feel like that's a situation where, kind of like you say, we can play some really high level basketball and win a few in a row. And I really feel like anything can happen. And if we put ourselves in a good spot to be able to, play high level basketball, we can do anything.
Last thing for you, Ethan. What are you guys maybe focusing on over this last week in general? Is there maybe just like a couple key spots fundamentally you guys are looking like? What's kind of been the message with Coach Riley?
Yeah, I think the message he's kind of put over is just the energy and the effort that we're playing with. I think we've had a huge focus on practice today and yesterday, just kind of positive reinforcement when something goes well, when something goes bad. Picking a teammate up and building that energy. Which I think is going to be really big in March. I think for those games where, like you say, you can get hot. I think that's going to be really important for us. So to be able to kind of build that build that positive energy and that connectivity together has definitely been a focus point of the last couple of practices.
I do have one last one. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Thomas Thrasterson. Obviously, he's a guy from overseas. Not the same country, but kind of similar.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him this season? It's been a whirlwind for him. I mean, kind of thrust into the rotation and has really, really surprised a lot of folks. And how have you maybe helped him with the transition? Playing ball in the States as well.
Yeah, I feel like I can always kind of relate to a lot of the European guys that are coming over for their freshman year because I know what it felt like. It just felt like a lot at you at one time. You're trying to process, being really far away from home, how Americans live and the lifestyle and just how stuff works over here. And you're trying to do that whilst balancing school, balancing basketball and stuff like that. And I think Thomas has done such a good job of he comes in every day and he works. He works every single day. He doesn't say a whole lot. He doesn't say a whole lot at all, but he comes in and he works. He's a great teammate. You can always rely on him. And I just feel like to be able to see his growth from, like you say, at the start of the season when everyone's healthy, you might not think he's going to be playing a whole lot of minutes, but then we have a few guys go down. He steps up. He has a stretch of games where he's starting, and he looks comfortable out there. He looks like a starter. And then obviously Isaiah comes back and he goes back to the bench, but for him it's not, oh, am I starting? Am I doing that? He comes in every game and he's ready to do whatever the team needs to do for him. And I think at this level that's just so valuable, and people often overlook it. But his ability to be able to play lots of different positions, he's strong, he's tall, he plays great defense. Like that's something that's super valuable. So to be able to see his growth over this year, but also when I'm done here, to be able to look back and see his growth over the next few years is going to be really exciting.
Ethan, thank you so much for the time. Coug Nation is wishing you guys the best of luck over these final 2 games, and take care of business. Last home game at Beasley.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ethan.